Hello, Internet! It's your favorite host. Well, it's your second favorite host, Sneaky Devil.
Fuck. God damn it, Bake.
What?
Did you not see what Bake just linked about 8 minutes ago?
What, the My Little Pony Bible Black thing?
No, in news, we just lost the actor for Robbie Rotten.
Oh no. His cancer came back and it killed him this time.
I guess that was the final relapse.
Oof.
That sucks.
Yeah,
He's one of those actors where
he
you find out
powered through
later
that
in life.
cancer like twice.
Yeah, it's like you find out later in life. Actually, this was a legitimately good human being.
Yeah. But as I'm saying, that terrible news. Get your butts ready, kids, because this is the train ride of awful. Fanfiction Contempt Theater 9001, and it's that time again. So crack open the kegs and let's begin. Now, of course, I am required to remind everyone, as per Twitch guidelines, do not contact the authors at any point in time in these fics, unless those authors come on to this lovely podcast of ours and say go for it. But none of them have done that, besides, like, all of the ones that have come on our podcast, and you already know them, so...
They're probably sitting in chat. You could probably go bother them right now.
Probably. So, today I have a special prize for all of you, not Max.
Oh no.
There we go. Excellent.
Should I be scared?
We're not actually going to read this. I just wanted to point out that something like this exists. Chobit Z. Dragon Ball Z Chobits style.
Yes, that was linked in the chat earlier.
Yeah.
Because like a fool, I asked them, "Hey, you guys got anything interesting?"
But don't you worry, today is Tuesday, which means we're actually going to go back and read some crap. Actually, we're going to save that for when Atin ever arrives. So, actually...
he is informed me he will not be on the show tonight.
Yeah, okay, so then we won't do that until next Tuesday. Okay, let's do this one. Familiar of Zero Toho, you know at least one of those, right?
I'm passingly familiar with both of them, actually.
Excellent!
Well, okay, in terms of Toho, I'm very passingly familiar. Like, I can name like a third of the cast if you showed me pictures, maybe?
Yeah, basically, I'm in the same section of that.
It's like, I know it's cool. I know the character designs are really cool. I know there's a legit story. But I
wouldn't push it that far. Each game is like its own story.
Well, except that they all connect is the thing. Like, it's a legitimate story. You can play any one of them and not know what's going on in the previous ones, but they all still connect in a way that
they all
makes
still
sense.
basically use the same cast. Yeah.
Well, it's not. No, it's not even that. Like, they are in sequential order.
Are they?
Yeah. That they are in a sequential order.
That would be me. I called you Shota Isley because Isley called you a Shota. And you are Isley's little brother, according to Isley.
What the fuck have you done? I'm sorry, I'm cleaning up a mission in Warframe. What the fuck am I missing?
Shota Isley has appeared. Isley's little brother.
Oh no. Why would you do that to anyone?
Because I am a cruel and capricious person. So anyway, as always, the fanfic we're covering will be linked into the Discord for anyone who wishes to peruse on their own time, or if you just want to follow along as we read it to you. So, the sync counter has been reset, and my magical potato juice has been poured. So let us begin. What the fuck have you done could be Sneaky's motto. No, that's Max's motto for when dealing with me. I'm corrupting the youth. Nah! The youth's already been corrupted. The void of the sky. Luis has been hoping for a dragon or a manticore. Passive sentence. But instead, she summoned a raven with a gem on its breast. A raven that seemed to have a lot of tricks up its sleeve, and so her descent into the dark world of power, politics, and annoying yoki that help in the most irritating way possible. At least she has a bird that can level cities. Yokai, but yeah.
Oh, okay. I was just like, because like some forms of fiction actually differentiate between those. I wasn't sure if that was you being an asshole or not.
That was me being an asshole.
Okay.
At least she has a bird that can level cities. Yeah.
That's... Alright, that's handy.
Yeah, I guess. But it's also a bird, so... sin counter.
Well, hang on now. A bird big enough will just completely wipe a city off the map, let's be fair.
Yeah, but it's a bird. I hate birds. Mostly.
What about phoenixes?
Dude, phoenixes are annoying. Not sure if Sneaky was being an asshole. Have you met Sneaky? This is always a fair point.
Well, here's the thing. I've met Sneaky. I've known him for 7 years. So there are moments where he does not know how to pronounce things and tries his best. And there are moments where he's just being an asshole because he knows how to pronounce things.
And I know Max gets angry at me.
It's a 50-50 with him.
Luis looked over the summoning circle. Everything was in order. This time, she's show them. What? This time, she's show them.
Hey, hang on. Pretty sure that their finger slipped and missed the D.
I mean, yeah, that's fair, but they also shouldn't be using contractions like that in the narrative. She'd get something awesome, like a griffin, or a dragon, or maybe even a manticore like her mother. She raised her wand and channeled her magic into it.
No. Sneaky.
Yeah.
Come on.
Channeled.
Channeled.
No, they're forgetting the second L.
There's no second L!
Oh, that's the wrong word. Fair enough. Look, man, I just got off of a 12-hour shift. I don't want to hear it. Missing the D is always a tragedy.
Oh,
that's why you don't stack evasion. I'm terrible.
I hate you both.
It started with a rush, like it always did. What is she doing? Drugs or magic? 12 hours channel.
Both.
I'm not crazy on this, am I? No. Max has to be wrong.
How am I wrong? What, on channel?
I was fucking right! Fuck you! I'm right! Eat shit!
Cool. Now type in channeled with 1 L into Google.
Channeled is a stream or river.
How about you actually click on the dictionary?
Yeah.
Like, no, I mean actually click on that because a
the
channel...
bed of a stream, river, or other waterway.
Sneaky,
Nautical.
That is the fourth definition of the noun for channel.
No, that is the first definition. Noun. First definition. The bed of a stream, river, or other waterway.
Yeah.
Second definition.
Channel. Yeah, now go look at the verbs.
Yes, channeled. Channeled. Channel.
Yes. Now go look at the verbs, which is how this is being used.
To direct towards...
Is this one of those weird English words that both are correct? Oh my god, it is. I hate you, English. I hate you, English.
Oh my god, it is. Still, fuck you, I'm right. You're wrong. Woo!
Fuck you, I'm right, you're wrong.
No. Your statement was predicated on me being wrong. Not that.
No. Your statement was they're forgetting the second L. I said you don't need a second L. That one's correct.
And so we're both wrong.
Look, sneaky. How about we just compromise? We're both wrong. Fuck the English language.
Yeah, I can agree to that. Fuck the English language. We need a fuck the English language counter.
We'd only get to pull it out like 3 times a month, but it'd be worth it.
Do a yearly tally at the end of the year. How many times we just had to say "fuck the English language"?
Yeah, that. Oh, I feel like I say that at least once every 2 weeks.
At minimum. At minimum. Anyway, so
This language sucks.
you know what? No, you know what I'm betting? I'm betting the 1L is the British version.
It might be, but that's also the version that I learned in school.
Well, we all know the South can't teach English.
No, okay, look, listen, I'm gonna let you know this now, all right? America took English, we made it better. The South took English and we butchered it. All right? So America made American English, the South took American English.
2 L's would be British. Okay.
Okay, so 2 L's are what the fuck?
Okay.
How did you learn that one then?
New Jersey. That makes sense.
Right. Yeah, I forgot that's still part. Even though New Jersey is apparently like just some Southerners that never came back after the war, you're still technically in the New England area.
Yeah, we're in the New England area, so we learned the New England way.
Yeah, all right, that would actually explain it.
Okay, well, now that we've got that out of the way, with us both being right and he also being wrong at the same time, because our statements were predicated on the other one being wrong, so,
Just a normal day for you and me.
Yep, just a normal day. I call upon you, who matches my soul. Give me your power. Is this really like? I see this like phrase in so many different ways in fanon. Is this like an actual canon thing? It's been so long since I've read it. Like, is the chant even canon?
There is a chant they use. I think depending on what translation you're looking at, it changes because there's the official and there's like 5 fan translations, and that's not even getting into manga versus light novel versus anime translations.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, Birdie, we are now counting the sins because we figured, hey, they sin enough, and we have to
Here
count
it
the
is.
sins.
Summoning spell, blah blah. Oh God, yeah. The 3 versions themselves have 3 different official translations.
Jesus Christ. Okay, so that's why I see every single story do it differently. Alright, I'm glad we finally got that one cleared up. What is this, cinema sins? Yeah, we're about as accurate, so we're like fanfiction
Here's the other thing, Sneaky. Based on what I'm seeing here, this author made up their own chant because they didn't feel like typing out some of like... The anime version is stupidly long. The manga and novel versions are also are even longer. They're so like, oh my god, the novel version is a redundant chant. She says her name in it twice.
I think it's like the aura unlock bit in Ruby where someone decides that different hunters would use different things. I mean, that's fair enough. I do like the idea of hunters using different phrases, what means especially to them, because the whole soul thing, with that aspect. I was just curious. Like, I wasn't saying the author is wrong in this aspect, but I will, give him a sin because I'm cinema sins, basically, but for fanfiction. So we just give regular sins out for no reason.
It appears to be something like that, because I'm pretty sure someone's like, why is she using a different chant?
Yeah, no.
They're taught a chant, and then she took it and fucking ad-libbed.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, because Luis can't do anything right. Anyway, everything was going fine, and then the power twisted, and her heart sank. Not now, not again. She gripped her wand tighter, throwing all her willpower into it. Which, by the way, I hate any author that uses willpower as a definition for quantities of magic.
Mm.
Unlike cinema sins, do we really need to make up sins? Well, I mean, like cinema sins, we're just kind of adding sins based on our personal preferences of what we believe to be a sin. So no, we don't have to make them up. I just dislike things more.
I'm just going to make an educated guess and say that you created that sin count as a way to keep yourself sane as we get further and further into the direct.
More or less, it's there specifically so I can just hold down the plus button when I'm really angry at a fic.
Yeah, it's his cope. It's one of his multiple coping mechanisms at this point.
And this time the magic seemed to answer. Then there was another explosion. Luis stared at the slowly dispersing smoke cloud. This wasn't happening. She couldn't have failed again. She heard her classmates giggling behind her, and she clenched her hands so hard her palms hurt. The final bit of smoke cleared, and something was there. This person really likes their commas. They do not know sentence structure. Why is there a comma there? Like, the sentence actually reads, the final bit of smoke cleared. And there was something there.
Well, we talked about this before. I've made like
No. It is technically correct by the English language's definitions.
No, it's not even that. It's like, Sneaky, we've had this discussion before where at this point, commas in weird places to you or me is an odd writing style that the author prefers because commas have too many rules associated with them.
I'm aware, and we know we've been over this, but I'm going to harp on this because it's not an authorial style problem or an English language problem. It's a flow problem. The sentence does not flow. And if you're trying to create a broken sentence, then maybe that's your intention, but from what I've gotten so far, it looks more like the author just doesn't know how to write than they're actually doing something creative with the punctuation here.
Yeah, this is one of the few times I'm going to agree with you on this, by the way. Like, that comma really breaks the flow of the sentence. If you're looking for an emphasis, you either should have just replaced the comma with a period
or italicized and something appeared.
Yeah, or like any number of things here, like just like you said, put in italics something was there, or you can replace the comma with a period and start a new sentence starting with and, which pisses some people off, but is still technically correct depending on how it's used, or you could put ellipses there.
Going to the Prometheus school of running away from things. I will admit, sometimes Cinema Sins makes good jokes. Oh, yeah. Hey!
Oh, I thought you weren't going to be on.
What a surprise!
Oh, I think he might have... Yeah, I think his laptop internal mic is broken again.
Okay, well, he can, like, angrily listen.
That works. Yeah.
I thought Sneaky invented Cinema Sins. Well, I mean, I do shit talk pretty much every movie I go to, even on the first time. What a surprise!
That's because you're never happy, Sneaky.
That's a fair enough statement.
You're not happy unless you're angry.
You know how, like, the commercial goes? You're not you when you're angry? Or hungry or whatever the fuck it is?
Yeah, you're not you when you're happy, I guess. Like, you're not you when you're calm.
Calvin stealing all my jokes. You know what? You know what? Actually, Birdie, to make it up to you, we're gonna get that on a T-shirt. What a surprise! Specifically spelled in that exact fashion, and the S's and E's are actually going to run onto the back. So people actually like have to like turn themselves around you to see if there's more on the back of your shirt, and then they're just like, "There's nothing else here." And it's like, yeah, that's about that about summarizes my feelings on fanfiction. Oh wow, there's nothing fucking here.
Yeah.
So, because I love you all so much,
Holy
I've decided
shit.
to come back to the stream.
Well, we appreciate that.
Cool. You can cover while I run down to get my dinner real
You
quick.
say, even though I'm on my vacation, I love you all enough to show up. After I ate dinner, of course.
That's fair enough. I'm already like 4 shots in, so let's get going.
Only 4? You're like, oh no, that's right. We started a half hour
We're
ago.
only about like 17 minutes into this. Atin has vacations? No, he has unpaid vacations. That's what he has.
Yeah.
Louis, blah, 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 blah. A final bit of smoke cleared and something was there. A large black bird beating its wings to blow back the smoke. A raven? Louise peered at the bird sitting in the circle. Relief shifted to disappointment. She hadn't failed, but ravens weren't exactly the most impressive familiars. The ravens are pretty fucking smart. Fuck you, Louise. Fuck you, author. You add more sins because of that. I'm getting lax now. Atin goes on vacations. Well, you see, it's really hard to get a whip to extend from the East Coast to Chicago.
I mean, that's very rude, sir. I do not appreciate that.
I'll have to ask Max. He probably has lots of whips.
Hold on a minute. Why would Max?
Because he's in the South.
I hope you can feel the judgment.
Oh, I can feel the judgment from here. I'm just gonna drink it away.
Look, I don't normally agree with your parents in that you're a stain upon humanity, but
Oh no, I fully embrace the stain.
so then tell me, Stain, how should a hero act?
You should kill everyone that works for money.
I mean, fair enough. Can I just say that I'm actually depressed at how little Stain stuck around? Because, like, as far as villains go, he has a fantastic motivation, and he's a great anti-hero.
Oh my god! Okay, you know what? We're actually gonna. So I have a story to tell everyone.
Tell your story, and then you know what? We're gonna take a sidebar. We're gonna talk about good writing for villains.
Yeah. No. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna complete the first chapter of this, and then we're gonna talk about my story, and then talk about good villain writing.
Good.
Okay.
I got back in time for good shit. Awesome.
Yes, you did.
So let's get this over with then, so we can get on to the story time. Louise peered, blah 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 blah. The only difference between her familiar and the ones that dug through garbage was a bright spot on its chest. Is it wounded? Must be. No healthy animal would want the zero to be their master. Maybe it asserted itself trying to get away. The bird puffed up at the words in the crowd of the crowd and cawed angrily. And then a beam of searing light flashed out from the red patch and burned a line in the dirt. Yeah, the bird shoots laser beams.
What have I come back to? Well, hopped in on.
For Toho, that's actually kind of tame, I think.
Yeah, it's a Toho Louis familiar Zero Cross.
I'm just pointing out, in a world where bullet hell is literally how you fight other people, one laser is kind of tame.
Sometimes I sound like excuse me, I am not an atheist. Praise be the Lord Helix.
Sneaky,
Why did that come up?
Like a crazy preacher.
Because Calvin called me a crazy preacher. Was Calvin not actually here for the time I read an entire story as a black Southern preacher?
I know I wasn't.
You mean the time you were horribly racist?
Horribly accurate, you mean?
Oh God!
I mean, I'm
you
not
really
wrong.
are going to get us banned.
But I'm not wrong. It was a excellent impersonation.
Okay.
Okay, Robert Downey Jr. did a great job playing a black guy. That doesn't mean the blackface wasn't racist.
I've got a question because I'm pretty sure that was the Harry Potter fic, right? That I wasn't here for.
No, there was two of them. The first time I did it was when it was the Harry Potter fic that actually took place in the South, and all of magic was God's miracles, and Dumbledore was a preacher.
That one.
And I just I read every single Dumbledore line like a preacher. And then there was the other fic, which was a
Isley saying it was an Undertale fic.
Yeah,
okay, if I've heard this,
yeah.
I think didn't I say no?
By the way, can I just say it's great having Isley back?
Yeah, it's great having our archivist back.
Yeah, archivist / resident degenerate.
Okay, come on now. The resident degenerate is clearly Nosehair.
No, he's the backup degenerate.
You're right with his Sneaky. What are the prefixes we've tacked onto Yang now? It's the one-armed lolly Yang fetish.
Yeah, the one-armed lolly Yang fetish.
Wait, hang on. When did the other tag pop up?
Which one?
You're gonna have to say which one there.
I'm aware.
When did I miss the lolly tag?
Oh, that was because shit. He made a lolly joke while we were laughing at him about the Yang stuff. So.
Oh, he just had to fuel to the fire then.
Yeah.
By the way, Nosehair is sitting next to me. He's not happy.
Yeah, it was an Undertale fic. I read the entire thing as a Southern preacher.
So I gotta ask, Isley, you don't get paid to be our archivist. Why do you remember all this?
That's a good question, but I don't know the answer to that question.
Well, I'm not asking you. I asked Isley.
I'm actually, after this stream is over, I'm going to create a role for Isley on our server called the Archivist. She'll get special colors and everything. Oh, Calvin. Oh, Calvin. Oh, Calvin. I am a born record keeper. Yes, Isley, you were born to keep records.
Yeah. Nosehair, stop corrupting Calvin.
I mean, he's technically doing his job as backup degenerate.
He is doing the job. Anyway, moving on past the degeneracy that is actually less degenerate than normal in our chat. Blah blah blah, the bird shot a fucking laser beam, blah 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 blah, put out the fire. You are the best bird ever, she said. The raven croaked happily. My name is Louise Francois Leblanc de la Valerie. Sorry, let me try and do a French for that one. Oh la la. No, that's not French enough. I have to sound more pretentious. Alright. How does Nosehair
Oh boy, how
sound?
pretentious can you go?
I'm trying to think, how would Nosehair sound when he's giving Dota advice?
Okay, no, if you're doing that, then you have to... okay, if you're trying to sound pretentious with a Dota voice, you need to be Purge.
Oh, that's a good point, that's a good point. Oh, by God! My name is Louis Francois Leblanc de la Valerie!
How is that Purge? Nosehair wants to yell at you angrily. Hold on. The hell is that a Purge voice, you shit?
I'm okay. I'm dying, but I'm okay. Laugh too hard. I forgot I can't laugh. Oh.
Did you fall off the chair again, you moron?
No, I laughed too hard and started choking. Oh. Pentagon of the 5 elemental powers! Semicolon. Bless this humble being and make it my familiar. And with that, she kissed the bird's head. As the ruins started forming, she got a better view of the red spot. It actually looked like a gem embedded into the bird's chest. What kind of creature had she summoned? Whatever it was no mere raven. Her musings were interrupted by her familiar's loud protest. Oh, right, the ruins may hurt a little. I stop pecking my hand. I didn't make the ritual. Isley, why? What? Don't. What, Isley? What? A baguette, he says as he prepares his French. I had to get into the mood, you know?
Alright, first of all, I want to point out that Isley massively misspelled tentacles.
Have to be a little more specific with those
Why
lines.
is Isley... No! Oh god, I should stop reading what you say, Isley. You're a strange bird.
Tentacles are the best waifu. And see, that's why you're Shota Isley. That is why you have earned the name Shota Isley. You ask why I named you that. That is why I named you that. Degenerates, all of you. Sweet fucking God, Calvin, you are a pure German child.
I mean, there's a lot of jokes that I could make with you saying that he's a pure
know,
German child.
Now that I've said that, I am regretting saying that.
Somebody clip that!
Yes, somebody.
You really should have stuck to like something like "you're too pure for this chat" or something.
That was a mistake.
Oh god. Fuck. Do we
Watch
need to mute
that be what
Isley
gets us kicked
and nose hair?
off Twitch.
Is that what's gonna get us kicked off? Like corrupting an innocent youth?
No. Corrupting a pure, innocent German youth.
Oh,
Well,
God.
now we can get a clean clip of you saying it. Good job.
Yep. I knew what I was doing.
Yes, indeed. Okay.
I think I may have broken Sneaky's lungs,
God
guys.
damn it, those hair. Punch him for me, will you?
Wait, what did he do?
He did.
I'm not looking at chat.
He did carrot German, carrot innocent.
Alright, I'll give him a good slap in a minute.
God damn it. We're moving on.
Please, it's 40 minutes into this. And we're not halfway through the chapter yet.
Okay, but think of the fun we're having.
Oh.
Alright, because I don't want to deal with this anymore, and Calvin, I don't have the answers for you, okay? It is questions I have asked myself. They keep me up at night, okay? I don't have an answer for you.
Oh, God.
Anyway, so, bird names itself, blah, 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 blah.
Wait, what's this about the eating one?
We're not, no.
No.
You know what?
No.
I don't know about this one, and I'm happy
Cease,
that way.
Stop. End of discussion here. We are not talking about this. Blah blah blah. The bird makes a nest in its drawer. Blah blah blah. You're a smart raven. Well, ravens are pretty fucking
Isley,
smart.
how can you still not tell the difference between us?
That was Atin that said
I'm pretty
okay?
sure you're being trolled, lad. I'm pretty sure you're being trolled. In this world, it's eat or be eaten.
No. Excuse me, I'm gonna go listen to some nice video game music to try to forget about this.
Blah 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 blah. People are going to breakfast. Oh wow, it's me, the Raven. I'm a woman now. But you were a Raven. Yep, I have a human form.
Thank you, Toho.
So apparently Isley's brother it doesn't understand Isley either. That's good to know.
Well, I mean, we got a story from Isley on Friday about how she apparently just, like, flashes her brother and shit to confuse him.
Yes, we did get that. I'm not certain if Isley's brother is in fact living in some kind of disturbing fan manga.
I'm sorry. I just now have this odd image of like Isley's little brother just is trapped in this weird harem space, and he has childhood friends he's not telling us about that also show up.
Listen, if that's the case,
Also,
I want to know, because I want to see reality get bent.
Also, Isley, I relate to you with that comment of you get used to it eventually. That's what I have to say about like, I can relate to some degree from you.
No, sorry, Isley. That's just nope. It's on record. You said it.
Lovely.
It makes sense.
It makes sense in context.
What?
Isley, you can't justify your way out of this one.
I think I might have just coughed up my lung.
Okay, Isley, I'm just gonna tell you now, as someone who's a fan of Fate, just because something makes sense in context doesn't usually make it any better.
Am I still ill? I have been ill forever. You guys just got to endure the period of time where my cough just was in recession. I have actually always been this sick. You can ask Max.
He's been this sick for the 4 years that I've known him.
Okay, actually, for the 7 years I've known you, the last year and a half has been surprisingly tame in terms of your body trying to kill itself.
Yeah, that's because it was fairly unstressful. Now that I'm down money and actually have to work hard to keep living. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
Let's move
Calvin,
on to story time.
If the doctors could do anything for Sneaky, they'd have done it by now.
Yeah, no, they tried.
Max, technically there's one thing they can do for him, it's just not legally allowed in the United States.
What? Do I want to know?
That's a lovely background.
Thank you.
Okay, long story short, Sneaky's body's trying to kill itself. His blood is toxic to a number of bugs and cannot actually feasibly be given to another person as a blood donation.
He's literally been banned from donating blood, guys.
His body also just burns through pain medication like it doesn't exist, so he doesn't get any of the benefits except
all medication, actually. Like, even antibiotics and shit have reduced effect in this armor.
Yeah. So, essentially, he's basically what the next step of human evolution would look like, but he's the beta version.
I'm a prototype, I'm sorry.
You know what? No, you're right. You're like the alpha prototype at that. You're like in the initial. You're in the research phase right now, and they're just looking like, how did we even build this?
He's the shittiest version of Albert Wesker.
Sneaky is naturally toxic. We already knew this. Sneaky is a Nurgle worshiper. Excuse me, I am a Helix worshiper. Do not confuse my faith.
And do you think if we push hard enough, we could push Sneaky as Wesker version .01?
God fucking damn.
No, it's not even version .01. It's version like O.
God fucking, I hate you all.
There are so many decimal points. They just round it. They just round it to 0.
And so he pumps alcohol into that mix? Well, of course I pump alcohol into that mix.
Yeah. So are we actually going to finish this chapter?
No. No, I've just given up on that. No.
To in the author's defense, that is an actual Toho character that does that, though.
Oh, no. Surprisingly, I have nothing to say from the stuff I read from the first chapter. I have nothing bad to say about how the author set it all up. My only complaints with the author is the setup in of itself, the execution of it, and the punctuation in the flow of the story.
But other than that, there's no problems.
Yes, Storytime Newton said. I know his hair made some meme reference that I didn't get. Anyway, so story
It's
time.
just being weird.
Someone asked me one time.
Well, I actually know that manga.
Someone asked me one time to help me write a My Hero Academia story with them.
Oh no.
And I responded with okay.
Oh, good. He's telling this one.
Yeah. Sean, you should probably watch our live stream instead of commenting on old videos.
Why does he keep doing that? Does he
To be fair, Isley did it too.
Well, yeah, and so does Chrysanthemum. Well, speaking of which, I miss Chrysanthemum. She needs to be on more.
Look, we miss having a slightly inflated view count. That's what we miss.
No, I miss the people.
Yeah, I legitimately like the people who became regulars. It's always noticeable when they're gone because it's like, oh,
Cat's slow.
There goes part.
3 claps for fanfiction review. That's what's going to be from now on. I'm going to clap 3 times and yell fanfiction review.
And we'll just ignore you.
Oh, sure, we hate it when you're gone, Calvin.
We missed you while you were gone. We're gonna miss you when you leave again.
What's that one song from Wiz Khalifa?
Was Calvin like actually our first regular?
Yeah, Calvin was
that
up there.
Participated in chat with us.
Yeah, probably.
Isley, I think, was actually even earlier because she showed up on YouTube. I think Calvin was one of our first interactions.
Someone spoke up on the YouTube chat and we were like, "The hell?
Yeah,
someone's watching us."
That's actually. I think they might have showed up on the same stream actually.
Yeah, Calvin was Twitch and
we got
Isley
Calvin
was
on
YouTube.
Twitch and Isley on YouTube.
Back in the days when I used to have both chats up.
Yeah, and they would just talk to each other using this stream.
Yeah. That
was so weird.
That was weird.
Oh, boy.
Anyway. So, story time. Oh, we'll miss you, Shota Isley. We'll miss you once you become a regular. Before you corrupted me.
Calvin, we've said it before, we'll say it again. For a non-native English speaker, your writing wasn't horrible, and the ideas were clearly, like...
Look, you were more
fun.
comprehensible than most of the people.
So, it's clear you had fun writing it, and we actually had fun, like, kind of critiquing.
Story time about the time someone asked me to help them write a story. It's Storyception. So, they asked me for their help, and I was like, okay, so tell me your idea. And their idea was they were going to write a My Hero Academia story with their main character being a OC self-insert. And I was like, oh, okay, and what's your self-insert gonna do? Oh, well, you see, she was an apprentice to Stain, who didn't like Stain killing all the people, but she believed in Stain's teachings. And so her first story arc is going to be her showing up and beating Stain when they first confront him in the show in that alleyway. She was gonna show up and beat Stain and be like, "Stain, you're wrong."
And that would just magically convince Stain.
No. And then the My Hero Academia, the school, offered her a position at teaching because they were so impressed with her beating Stain, and allowed her to teach a philosophy class at the academy.
I'm not really sold on this, if I'm being honest.
And it gets better. Because I was like, okay, that's like really weird and shit. Like, okay, so you gotta keep in mind, guys, this was like a year, almost 2 years ago now. So, and she also was like, oh yeah, and my character is like 20 years old, and she has a doctorate in physics and what was it at? In physics and engineering or some shit like that. She had 2 doctorates in like STEM fields, and I was like, why and how, and what? You're like, really, why that? And she's like, oh, because she's like super smart and super strong, and her quirk counters Stain. What's her quirk? I haven't figured it out yet, but it counters Stain. And I was just like, what? No.
In order for a quirk to directly counter Stain, it would literally have to be you're just unaffected by other quirks, and that's your quirk. Like,
no, she was like planning on her quirk being like some sort of superpower that basically a worm trump that like had the ability to have the counter to anyone she's fighting or something like that.
theoretically possible, but they'd have to be closer to the quirk singularity for that kind of thing to pop up. What would be more realistic is their quirk always tells them, like, hey, here's the answer to the problem. Like, it's
like a super sleuth.
It's an old Marvel character called The Answer, where they did something to sort of mutate him and give him. They found a way to give him power. His power was, whatever your problem is, you will always manifest the power you need to get out of it, but then you lose that power.
Yeah.
So, like, this would be like, I need to beat this Stain guy. Okay, don't let him touch you. Break his blades, and here's a convenient AC unit to fall on his head or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Like, if you want a counter quirk, you have to balance it out somehow, unless you're like, oh, this is 40 years in the future when the quirk singularity basically just has people walking around throwing nukes. Like, it's money, essentially. Like, thank you, Calvin.
Thanks, Calvin. Now I'm just imagining a gold-leafed cocoon with a giant T on it.
Oh, for God's sake.
Thank you so much, Calvin. Never change. Please, for the love of God, never change.
Anyway. Chat is broken. Did I fix it? Oh, yeah, you totally fixed it, Birdie. Anyway, so, as I was saying, I proceed to spend like the next 4 hours, like basically doing a tag team with another person she has to help, of just explaining to her why she's wrong. And some good key moments from this conversation was such statements as Stain did nothing wrong. So that's basically like Hitler did nothing wrong. And Stain was wrong. So sorry, Stain's philosophy wasn't real communism. Cross out real Stain's philosophy. Well, at the end, she was like, "It really does sound like that, doesn't it?" And we were like, "Yeah." The way you have your character and her arc set up, it really does sound like you're saying Stain did nothing wrong and his philosophy wasn't the real philosophy. But I'm sure it'll work this time when I implement it. I have commercials on my stream?
Wait,
Neat.
what?
Apparently, I have ads on my stream. Neat.
Yes. Wait, are you at the point where you can now just like at the hour mark just run a commercial now?
I'm
Does that
not at the
finally
point
happen?
where I can't manually do it, but apparently it automatically does it, so that's neat.
Oh, yeah, whenever you refresh the page, like, I've talked about that before. It's like, hey, Sneaky, what? I just got a League of Legends commercial on your Dota stream.
Yeah.
I told you about that.
Yeah. Alright. Anyway, so Stain, villain. How to write a good villain. Let's go. I'm gonna change the text. Properties. How to write a good villain. Atin, you said you wanted to start this off.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say, I was sad that Stains was like a one-episode villain. I guess it was like 2, because his actual rationale, while incorrect, was understandable. And even if you thought he was wrong, you're like, he is. You understand what he's trying to do, even if you don't agree with it. You understand his motivation, and those make for the best kinds of villains.
Right, exactly. And what would you say to people who want to try and write their own villain?
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
In terms of advice, what would you say to people who want to write their own villain?
So, if you're trying to write a good villain, you need to make your villain understandable. People try to dehumanize the villain. That's a bad idea. The best villains, you want people sympathizing with your villain. You want people to go, I could see myself making a similar decision.
Yeah. 3-episode villains, yeah. Always go with the thought the villain himself doesn't think that he's bad. Yeah, exactly. The best kind of villain is the villain that doesn't think he's a villain. The villain that thinks he's doing the right thing. The hero that lives long enough to become a villain. Yeah. Example like Andrew Ryan. Yeah. A BioShock 1 did a great.
Well, I was going to say, even in and of itself, Andrew Ryan wasn't, strictly speaking, the villain. He was not he wasn't the primary antagonist.
Yeah, he was not the primary antagonist, but he was the mastermind.
It was more of a side plot. But
yeah, this is actually something I saw today and came up in a discussion with a coworker. Is they called me a terrible person, and I replied with, "I just see myself as the antagonist of someone else's story."
Wait, why was your coworker calling you a terrible person? What specifically?
Why does that need an explanation?
No, Sneaky, there are many things that could have triggered it. That's why I want the explanation.
I was joking that I was gonna close the door on someone's card.
Oh.
oh, does make you a horrible person, just makes you an asshole.
Like I said, I'm just
like a horrible person is I'm gonna shut this door on their puppy or their kid.
I'm just
Then
gonna
you're a
make
horrible
someone's
person.
day mildly worse. Like I said, I'm just the antagonist of Max's story.
You're a shitty antagonist, then.
I never said I was a good one.
Well, you see, no, you guys have reached the special stage of villain where you've become the frenemy trope.
Yes, indeed.
It's like, oh yeah, Mondays we're at each other's throats, but Wednesdays, yo, it's game night.
I mean, you can look at this stream as a great example. I just fucking like shouted for like a couple of minutes about how you were wrong, and then we're like, all right, no, we're both wrong. Let's move on.
Yeah, just all right. Here's the compromise. We're both wrong. Fucking shit. Like, oh, I can't wait for us to get like our own rival then, Sneaky. We're just like, you know what? Fuck you, but fuck this guy in particular.
Okay, so that is a good point. Sometimes the villain is better when he's one-dimensional. Sometimes there are just bad people out there that are just like, I'm gonna go shoot that person. Why would you shoot that person? I don't know, because I can. There are people out there that are like that.
And generally, there are good one-dimensional villains, but generally, if you are writing any kind of complex story...
Well, no, not even that. Even with a complex story, you can use one-dimensional villains as, like, a means of just character progression. Like, it can just be they started off with bad people, and eventually, like, they got their morals settled, they got how they're going to handle things settled, and then they're confronted with a villain that's actually complex, that actually has, like, motivations that are relatable and understandable, and now the hero has to deal with that.
Yeah, like, and just keep in mind, I've never been big on the whole one-dimensional versus three-dimensional thing.
Yeah.
But I've always looked at one-dimensional is this thug is clearly wanting to, I don't know,
it's like Lung. The thug is going to murder the child.
This thug's like, I'm gonna mug this person. You don't explain why, and you don't look at their backstory. All you know about this person is they're gonna mug them, and that's it. You don't even get the token just because I feel like it, or because I was wronged by someone like this years ago.
You don't need to make every villain a complex one. Sometimes one-dimensional villains are useful in the flow of the story to define the other characters. And now, that being said, if they're going to be reoccurring characters, you should probably add a bit more definition than one dimension to them.
I was going to say, actually, a fantastic example of that comes from the Dresden Files, Gentleman John Marcone.
Yeah, and there's actually a trope about that, where it's the 3 stages of Mook or something like that, wherever it's called. Basically, you start off with a one-dimensional villain, and like they're easy, they get trounced by the hero, but they come back the next time, they have more powers and like a better plan or etc. And basically, over time, you turn this one-dimensional villain into an actual, like, character with their own backstory and reasons as to what they're doing. And
I mean, that's basically what happened with Marco.
Yeah. And it's supposed to be... The reason why it's got its own trope is it's basically supposed to be, like, this surprise where the character goes from everyone being like, oh my god, it's this guy again, the hero's gonna beat him, and yada yada... And that does happen for a while, and then, like, right at the end with the final battle, it gets, he reveals his, whole thing, and people are like, whoa! Every villain with a name should have at least something to them, not their first appearance, but overall, not counting mooks for obvious reasons. I mean, that's a decent thing as well. One-dimensional doesn't mean bland. You don't have to give them intricate reasons, but, say it's let's take a Mass Effect or Harry Potter, because those are so similar. Harry Potter, one-dimensional villain, it's ex-Voldemort bad guy who's like, I'm gonna go kill Harry. You know his motivation, it's not relatable, it's understandable in terms of the canon, but it's not relatable, obviously. But you know why he's doing it, and he's gonna go kill Harry, and obviously he fails because he's a one-dimensional villain. Voldemort's Hitler. Actually, Grindelwald was Hitler, but
Who's counting?
Yeah, we have 2 Hitlers, 3 Hitlers if you want to get technical. But yeah, give your villain to distinguish them from like every other villain, even if they're one-dimensional. It adds something and it makes them mildly memorable. Unless the point's not to make them memorable, unless the point is like they were just another thug, they were just another asshole. If that's the point, then obviously don't do that. But if that's not the point, if that's not what you're specifically aiming for, give them a trait. Give them something. But no, Isaac, no. As far as good villains go in the stories, I don't see too many these days. Actually, you know what? How to write a good villain? Let's list some bad ones and what to avoid with them. Aragon. Galbatorix was a terrible villain. It was an absolutely awful villain.
Yeah.
So Galbatorix in Aragon was originally supposed to be this boogeyman the author used as a reason as to why a lot of things in the story happened, and as an explanation for why the character has to go somewhere, he has to do something, he has to meet up with someone, he's got to learn X power. Basically, Galbatorix was the rails that the Aragon train traveled on. And because he was the rails, obviously he had to be the final villain. There could be no other. There could be no. It couldn't be some sort of complex thing as someone from a different, the neighboring lands was propping him up with, their version of magic or something like that to yada yada. It couldn't be that there was more than one dimension to Galbatorix. The only dimension to Galbatorix is he's powerful and he's evil. And the problem with that is the author spent around 4 books building up Galbatorix. And the problem is when you build up a one-dimensional villain that much, they become really hard to defeat because there's nothing about that villain that gives them any sort of weakness when they're one-dimensional. Because a 3-dimensional villain would have a backstory, reasons why they're fighting, ways to talk with them or talk them down, or ways to chip at a weak point of theirs from their history that you could have done with. But Galbatorix was built up as this basically unbeatable, immovable rock of immense power. And so the author had to, in the end, make up some
and
absurd
more importantly,
bullshit
he was also
to beat
one that was more or less pure evil.
Yes, Christopher was actually around 15 when he first thought of the story. But yeah, he started publishing around 16. He had a daughter around the second. He had a 5-year-old daughter by the time the second/third book was released, and she hated the movies.
So Sneaky, Isley raises a good point, but
Yeah.
Isley, the thing about that is that would make him non-one-dimensional. That would have taken him away from being a one-dimensional villain. So in that case, he would have been improved by being more complex.
Frankly, a character like Galbatorix could be interesting if you have them being a fairly good person, either twisted with ideals. Yeah, that would make them a non-one-dimensional villain, which is not what Christopher Panoli did. He made Galbatorix, I'm evil, I'm big and bad, I'm generically fascist, I'm generically authoritarian, I hate all the people and everyone suffers under me. Like, there was literally no redeeming points to Galbatorix, because even the redeeming points of like, oh, the Urgles are attacking less, turned out to be, oh, Galbatorix controls the Urgles. Oh, the Urgles are now slaughtering everyone, so we hear about the attacks less because everyone's dead. And Birdie does bring up a good point as well. Birdie says, I get you guys are writers and readers, but why should we listen to your advice? Why should you listen to our advice? Because we're giving it. Because there's a lot of people out there that don't give advice, and they're just like, oh, well, just write what comes natural. That's not advice. Oh, just write what feels good. That's not advice.
You want fantastic advice? And if you think, hey, I don't want to take advice from people who've never been published, okay.
I mean,
Sure.
I'm not saying you need to take our advice. What I'm doing is I'm giving advice. It's up to you if you would choose to take it or not. And I'm just saying that here I am, a person.
If people are saying, I want advice from a real writer.
Well, no one's saying
there
that.
There are a lot of writers that do it.
No, Bernie is saying.
Brandon Sanderson.
Why should we be taken seriously?
Gotcha.
And the answer to that is because we're actually giving advice. The answer to that is because we take time out of our day to sit down for free and give out advice in a, I guess what you could consider to be a public forum open to criticism. And is it going to be the best advice? No, probably not. Is it going to be, I'm a published author advice, so this is what you should do? No, it's not. Is it going to be advice taken from the heart and long-time learnings over years of reading several dozens of millions of words? Yeah, it's going to be that. So you can take it with a grain of salt. You can, go, okay, well, they made some good points. They made some stuff I don't agree with. So I'm going to take from the good points and ignore the bad points. Sure, go with that. If it helps you, that's our end goal. We're not asking to be paid for this. If you're going to pay us, that'd be great. But
we actually we are.
No,
definitely
I'm not.
To be paid for this.
No, if people will pay us, that's fantastic. But I'm not going to be like, you should listen to my advice, now pay me $5.
Oh,
no,
yeah, well, no, we're not doing that. But we are asking that you pay us. We'd like to get money.
Yeah, I mean, I will sit here and I will go, okay, well, here are the reasons why this is a bad villain. Here are the reasons why I believe this is a good villain. Here are the reasons why and how I believe you can write a good villain and a bad villain, and etc., etc. I will sit down and do that because I, personally, as a reader, love it when good stories come out. So, I have a little bit of motivation here in giving good advice to people. I want more stories to read. Patreon sellout. Hashtag not an ad. Hashtag could be an ad.
I'm so glad I started that.
You guys aren't water merchants. One of the reasons why I like you guys. Thank you. But you should still buy our water. The fact that you guys give advice tends to prove useful, so that's certainly helpful. Well, learn German. I can send you the rest of my fanfics. Yeah, we'll hop right on that, Calvin. We'll be real snappy with that. Just learn German. Simple. As far as decently handled villains, I actually have to go with Harry Potter on this one. So, while J.K. Rowling did a lot wrong when it comes to Harry Potter and how characters work, J.K. Rowling, at least when it comes to Voldemort, did not go with the hero overpowers him. Voldemort was a character that was beaten through karma, basically. Voldemort did a lot of bad things, and those bad things literally led to his defeat. Voldemort kills Harry Potter because with an Avada Kedavra, if Voldemort had used any other spell, he would have just killed Harry Potter. But because he used the soul-killing spell, he killed the fragment of his soul in Harry Potter. And because of that, Voldemort dies. Basically, every single scenario that has Harry beating Voldemort is through Voldemort's actions causing his own defeat. Not because Harry was stronger, better, smarter, planned better, had allies, or magic, or found some amulet, as so much fanon likes to do, of Harry just besting Voldemort because he's just like, oh, the power Voldemort knows not is the ability for my dick to shoot rapid-fire Gatling lasers.
I'm pretty sure that's in a manga.
I wouldn't be surprised. But Voldemort was beaten each time through an action he himself had perpetrated in the past. Like, in the first book, Voldemort was beaten by trying to use Harry, and his actions in the past of trying to kill Harry ended up defeating him this time around because of the magic that surrounded Harry. He was beaten the second time around because he tried to take a hostage, and in doing so, he tried to grandstand that he had taken a hostage. If he had just taken the hostage and done nothing with it and had been like, oh, you will find her in the chamber forever, Harry would have never had been able to save her. But because Voldemort had performed actions that gave him vulnerabilities, Harry was able to beat him. In the third book, there's not too much there in terms of Voldemort directly influencing anything. It was more just, these are repercussions of stuff, and let's just have Harry mature a bit. Yeah, Voldemort was so paranoid about like I said, like J.K. Rowling, with how her books operated and how the villain was defeated in her books. Like, despite everything else, and I will constantly badmouth J.K. Rowling, everyone on here has heard me do this. She was very poetic justice when it came to dealing with characters. The tape elbows. But yeah, so in the end, her villains are defeated through their own hubris, more or less. And I do give her kudos onto that, because so many stories, even back then and now, especially now, are defeated through the hero just being stronger, smarter, better, etc. than the villain. Or the villain just being utterly incompetent. The thing with Voldemort was he wasn't incompetent. The problem with Voldemort is that he was so competent he got very cocky in his competence. My Hero Academia is another decent it's a good spread of villains. There's a lot of one-dimensional ones. There's a decent number of third-dimensional ones. There's a couple ones that are relatable. There's a few that you just are born to hate. The important part with My Hero Academia is how much time it spends on each villain, and I personally believe it does it very well in how much time they spend on each villain. The one-dimensional ones are looked over, basically. The third-dimensional ones each have proportional amounts of time spent on them based on how important they are to the story. And I think it does that well, because I see, like, Worm's a good example of this. Some stories just focus way too much on one main villain, especially in the superhero, supervillain stories. And, I mean, Marvel and DC, depending on who the author is of the series at the time, are good/bad about it. Sometimes it's always the Joker, or it's always X.
Well, here's the thing, right? It's one of those things, because they have different authors.
Yeah, because there's different authors.
If you look at things like The Killing Joke or A Death in the Family, those are all about the Joker, and those are both fantastic.
But it's specifically because Death in the Family and Killing Joke were good because it wasn't like a weekly, oh, it's the Joker this time. It was just an overarching, this is about the Joker. It didn't try to be basically like a shonen of, comic a week, sort of, this is the villain today. which I do remember some of the series trying to be like, oh, this is the villain that Batman or Superman defeats this week, and it would just always be like, not good, but not awful. I mean, it's the reason why Superman has so many villains is because it's Superman, so they constantly have to change out who he's fighting to give downtime between them all. So like I said, they do it good, they do it bad. It really depends on the writers for that. But My Hero Academia does a similar thing, and where they constantly change out the villain because it's a heroes versus villains story, and it's about the growth of a hero. And if they kept fighting the same villain over and over again, it wouldn't make as good of a story. Like if Stain appeared like every 5 episodes, I would like My Heroes Academia less.
Yeah, well, here's the thing, right? Like Stain is the kind of villain. I understand why they only did him for a few episodes. Stain is the kind of villain. Either Stain needs to be the big bad, and you need to do it in like a Civil War kind of way, where you show, you devote entire episodes to showing Stain's perspective and to have Stain running this effectively hero resistance, or you do like 2 episodes at
like
max.
they did.
Well, like they did.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'm not saying that Stain was handled poor. I loved Stain, and the way they did it was fine. I just would wish he'd gotten more time. I wish they'd had the ability to give him more time.
But like I said, I personally enjoy their rotational villain that My Hero Academia does. So they can, by using the rotational villain strategy My Hero Academia does, it allows them to have the overarching villains in the background. So that way they don't overdose the audience on the overarching villains, sort of like it happened with Harry Potter.
And one of the important things is in My Hero, with the exception of Stain, the villain is fairly one-dimensional.
Yeah.
But that's okay so far.
Yeah. So far in the anime.
You guys haven't gotten to the current season, have you?
I'm on the current episode of the current season for the most part.
I haven't watched it in a while.
No, the main villain is okay.
Okay, are we talking about Glove Boy?
No.
No, he's talking about the one. No,
okay.
The one is very.
He's a far better villain. Stain is a great villain, but this one, the one is a far better villain by far and way more complex. Even the initial hints you get throughout seasons 1 and 2 concerning him leads him to be a far more interesting character.
I was referring to Glove Boy.
Basically with My Hero Academia, like I said, they have this rotational lower tier villain / lower tier plot / high schoolish.
But I would say one of the things that helps My Hero work is it unlike Batman, Deku doesn't need the Joker, because My Hero started off being about Deku and his journey and how he was growing. That's what people are invested in for the most part.
Yeah.
People are invested in the journey of Deku and company.
Yeah, and along the way we start saying, oh, we're getting to watch Deku's Joker also come into himself.
Yep.
Yes, but we're also watching. Let's be real. I'm pretty sure Bakugo is going to grow up to be the Punisher.
Yeah.
See, up until the Sasuke retrieval arc, I might have believed you. But the kid is too obsessed with being the #1 hero.
Yeah.
No, but here's the thing. He completely ignored the villains.
Yeah, that.
No, here's the thing. At worst, he'll be Endeavor version 2.0.
Yeah, he's not going to be Punisher, though. Like, here's the thing. Punisher, you're a criminal. You're dead.
Oh, that's what you meant. Okay.
No, he's not the Punisher. He's... Oh, there is an appropriate hero. I can't remember the fucker's name. It's like, I'm kind of like the Punisher, but, I have more good days than bad.
Ghost Rider?
No, oh god, no. Ghost Rider has a kill count. Ghost
Oh,
Rider, the way
no, Ghost
the
Rider.
way,
Sneaky,
oh,
do you know
Ghost
what the
Rider's
penance stare does?
scarier.
Oh, I
No,
know what the
Calvin.
penance
Calvin's
stare
asking.
does.
Calvin was asking, like, no, no, no. Oh, God, Bakugo with the penance stare. Please, God, no.
No, it's please God forgive me.
I don't. Yeah, Bakugo. It's very obvious that Bakugo is meant to be the main rival to the point of these guys every year they're just going to well, by the time they become pro heroes, I could see every year it's just like, all right, they just keep swapping spots.
Holy shit, Isley.
Excuse me, you are leaving out best boy Icy Hot.
Holy shit, Isley. God damn it, Isley.
Oh my god.
As much as I have fun listening, talk about characters, I must leave you. Have fun. Yep. Bye, bye.
Alright, later, Birdie.
But yeah, no, Birdie
See ya,
is
Birdie.
right. Back onto the subject of writing villains. So, there's a lot of ways you can go about writing villains. There's actually a lot of ways you can go about writing villains.
And really, the rules for writing characters in general are the same with the villains. It's literally just tack on the extra rule of is antagonist.
Well, I mean, actually, you don't even have to do that, as I have seen stories before that the fact that the character was the villain was revealed at the end. And, like, yeah, they did kind of go into the shady section of, like, killing people sometimes. And some of the stuff were like, that's a bit gray there. And then it was, like, revealed at the end that they were actually kind of like the villains this whole time. Birdie is right.
Could he have at least spelled it correctly?
Birdie, this is a writing podcast.
Sort of.
Tell me I'm wrong.
We don't actually do much.
I'm not commenting on that. You can take that however you want, Isley. Writing is life. I wouldn't go that far. I'm more of a reader than a writer. As you've all seen from my lack of updates on every single story that I've ever produced. Would Bakugo be more like Daredevil?
What? No!
No. Bakugo's hard to place with American heroes. In terms of known.
Well, I was gonna say, I mean, even... My Hero Academia, and I say this not as, like, someone who's... Because I do enjoy Japanese stuff, but one of the things My Hero has an advantage over Western comics in, the guy who's currently writing it loves Western comics, but he can look at it from an outside perspective and make them better.
Yeah.
Like, All Might is a way, way better Superman. Because he's a much deeper Superman.
Speaking of which, I'm getting back to criticizing your cuckfic, Sneaky. God damn it, Isley, it's not a cuckfic.
What?
I love that it's just kind of become that. You should just accept it.
I don't understand!
What did I miss?
I wrote a fan fiction, and like a shit ton of people were commenting on it, how I was cucking Naruto, and it's just like, but I wasn't. And I didn't understand why they thought I was. But no one, like, at any point in time ever specified how I was doing it either. So I'm just sitting here with a shit ton of reviews going, you're cucking Naruto, I hate this story. And then that one guy, I love that one guy right at the end who's just like, I don't know why everyone's saying you're cucking Naruto. Are we reading the same story? I love that one guy because I have the exact same opinion of him as him. In that I'm just like, what even? What even? And oof. I just some days I just hurt.
A quick aside: Japan has one-upped itself once again.
Oh, how has Japan one-upped itself?
DMC5, we just got a gameplay trailer. So you know how the first teaser we got, Dante showed up on a motorcycle at the end with that crazy smile?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, he shows
We
up as a
got the
stinger.
actually good protagonist back. Okay, hold
Well-
on. Let me rephrase that. For the relative value of good, in that he's better than Fives.
Okay, no, five. That's not five. That's DMC. That's a solid. That's a hard reboot. This is actual DMC5.
Oh, okay.
Dante shows up for the stinger of the trailer again, rides in on his motorcycle, and splits it into two giant swords and dual wields his motorcycle.
That's
gameplay.
amazing. But do they turn into two sexy women?
Yeah,
No, they turn into
but
two
are
big-off
they
fucking swords.
female?
Then it's not cool enough.
Yeah, then it's just not cool
I-
enough. Yeah. Come on,
For anyone who's asking questions, just go ahead and play Final Fantasy 13.
No, don't play
don't-
Final Fantasy 13.
don't
Save
yeah, no,
yourselves.
absolutely play Final Fantasy 13 so you can all watch
Don't-
the machine
don't
women scissor
that.
each other and turn
Do
into a
not do that to them.
motorcycle
Just
so you
tell
can
them to go
ride
look
them
up
in a
the
threesome.
Eidolons. Just tell them to look up
No,
motorcycle Eidolon. That's all they
Max,
need.
No,
this is terror
no,
that needs
they-
to be experienced.
They must play
Patton,
it to
The
understand.
first 4 hours of that game are terror enough.
They must play it to understand. They have not felt the question marks that need to be felt until they have played that game.
My favorite part about Final Fantasy 13 is my friend cheat engined the values so that he couldn't lose and still didn't care.
Yeah, I was that friend.
Yes.
Yeah, I know.
Why did you have to say my friend? You could just said Max.
Well, because I sometimes tell the story to people who don't know who you are.
But it's like the thing about Final Fantasy 13 is I don't remember anything besides the point in time where my mother walked in on me playing the game after she picked it up at Redbox because she was like, I'm going to try to do something nice for him. She picked up the game at Redbox, gave it to me, walked in while I was playing it to that specific scene, and we both just looked at each other like, what in the actual fuck have we witnessed? Thank you, Japan.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say for me,
motorcycle
it was
combos
I
in
was
DMC5.
playing. The worst thing that ever happened to me was I was playing Far Cry 3, and it was the scene where just out of nowhere, it's like, look, tits, and that was when my parents opened the door.
No, dude, I got one to top that, actually, if you want to talk about awkward situations. I was playing Mass Effect 3, and I got to the sex scene with Liara,
Which one? Oh, with Liara.
and my aunt, uncle, and their two 10-year-old children run down into the basement with my freaking 50-inch TV screen on full display of this scene, which, by the way, in case anyone is wondering, is in fact unskippable.
Oh boy.
And my uncle just looks at me like, is this a video game? I'm like, yeah, it's a video game. You just walked in at literally the worst possible time. Ugh. I thankfully dived for the remote and muted it, but yeah, the video still played. No, Calvin. 2 children were enough to talk them out of that. I want to talk about awkward. I'll refer you to a case of hentai being brought home from the video rental place and them not knowing what it was. It was in the kids section.
Oh god, Ninja Scroll. If it's Ninja Scroll, like that's not even a hentai. That's just super gory and does not give a shit about ratings.
No, You want to talk about like genuine awkward non-family related? I had a roommate who seriously watched, not in an ironic manner, seriously watched Boku no Pico without a headset on.
I'm sorry. What is that?
Bicycle fairy sex porn. It's a guy.
I need to hear that again. I'm sorry. My ears refuse to register what you said.
It is a man dressed up as a bicycle with fairy wings having sex with people. Calvin, college is a strange place. Yeah, he non-ironically watched it. And I was just like,
Well, it's like, look, I had someone who was like, Kill la Kill is really good, and it's really not that fan servicey, and they meant that seriously.
Okay, I was gonna say, hey, fuck you, Kill la Kill is really good. But
No.
it is exceedingly fan
There
service.
was an important
It is
qualifier.
only
that they
fan
added.
service. No,
That
I've
does
heard
not
people
prevent it from
saying...
being excellent.
I've heard people saying I'm watching it ironically, and I'm like, you're watching it nonetheless. Yeah. Okay, so look, Calvin, there's this thing called watching it for the meme, and for some reason people do it. I don't understand it, like I don't understand most memes, because apparently I'm getting old, but it's a thing that people do. Humans... Kill la Kill is actually, speaking of getting back on topic.
Well, hold on. I will say this: there are things that I've watched because they were terrible. Like I've watched the Super Mario Brothers movie because it's terrible and I wanted to laugh at it. I've watched the Star Wars TV Christmas special and I've watched the Legend of Zelda cartoon. I've watched all of these because they were terrible.
I just don't understand you. Speaking of good villains, Kill la Kill.
Speaking of Kill la Kill, there's a Kill la Kill fighting game, and there is in fact a function where you yell and have a philosophical argument with your opponent.
Yep. That was the big feature.
Yep.
Still kind of worried about it.
Okay, Legend of Zelda anime was...
No, it wasn't an anime, Sneaky. It was a cartoon. It was a Saturday morning cartoon.
Yeah,
in
it was
the United States.
really bad, Calvin. Well, Legend of Zelda cartoon was really bad. I have that cartoon.
It existed.
I have the cartoon on the DVD and I liked it.
Calvin,
we're having an intervention. As soon as we can get to Germany, we're having an intervention.
I don't expect that to happen anytime soon.
Oh, it's not happening anytime soon. It will the day we make enough money.
We have to watch all of Yu-Gi-Oh! First.
Look, no, I did that, okay? I did that with my roommates. I watched seasons 1 through Motorcycles, and we got to Motorcycles, and we got to like...
Wait, did Motorcycles come before or after high school?
After.
Which, it came after high school, because the first one technically happened in high school, and then there was the Live-In Academy.
Okay, fine.
The third one was the Motorcycles, and...
No, the Motorcycles was the 5th one.
No.
Because it was called Yu-Gi-Oh! 5D.
That's not how that works, and you know it. It's five dragons.
Also, I'm just gonna say, I'm pretty sure Yu-Gi-Oh! 5D was a porn title first.
It's supposed to be 5 dragons, but I think it's 6 or 7.
Okay, so...
and just to let you guys know, by the way, 5Ds is like one of the better in terms of plot for some
Oh
reason.
god, I know it was, but we were watching it and we got to this part where the guy was like, "Hi, my name it's Joey, and this is my card. And we were just
Okay,
like, holy
just-
shit, we can't watch
Just
this anymore.
Pro tip: next time you want to be a dumbass about watching Yu-Gi-Oh, just track down the original Japanese with fan
Yeah,
translation.
I know. We were like, oh, let's watch the dubs. How bad could 5D be with
Let-
dubs? And it was just like, oh no.
There are only like 4 good voices in the dub, and all 4 of them are the main characters ignoring the children, ignoring the twins.
Yeah.
We absolutely lost it because it was like this like 6'3" fat kid with like the highest pitch voice in existence, and we were just like, we can't
Yeah,
do
like
this.
the only good voices in the dub. Sorry, there were 5 good voices in the dub. There's Jack, there's Yusei, there's Aki, there's Crow, and then there's the main villain. I think.
Like,
something.
look, we watched a lot of things. We watched all of the Starship Troopers. We watched all of 80s Spider-Man.
All of 80s Spider.
We watched all of 80s Spider-Man.
Okay, 80s Spider-Man is a beautiful meme, and you will leave it alone.
No, I never said anything negative about it. We
you
really
guys decide to go
enjoyed Starship Troopers too.
Did you guys decide to go track down Japanese Spider-Man, Italian Spider-Man after that?
Oh my god, no. We saw it and we were just like, no, even we have limits. 80s Spider-Man. Look it up, watch it. Enjoy the living meme that 80s Spider-Man has become.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the book's way better.
And then
obviously.
I had the pleasure of introducing you and Atin to the first 2 episodes of season 0.
Oh yeah, that's right. We tried to do a anime contempt theater.
We succeeded in doing them. Let's be clear.
Succeeded.
We just haven't put them up.
The
And-
first
and then
episode is
Max-
completely edited, and the second episode is half edited.
And then Max is like, "Hey
Wait, then
guys,
why haven't we put it up?"
I'm gonna take a 7-year hiatus on editing these videos," and we're like,
actually,
"Okay, Max."
no. It became, hey guys, we need to schedule shit. Oh wait, life is happening for you guys. Then it's like, all right, you guys are free now, right? Oh, I have a job offer later.
Yeah, more or less. We have anime. Yes, we have anime stuff. We just never fucking posted it.
Yes.
I would say, listen,
yes,
if
Fowler,
we can
Boku
get
Makaiba with green hair.
what's a good
We even have
Let's say
face
10.
cams.
Let's say-
We
let's say
have
if we
face
can get-
cams on that.
$10 on Patreon?
Yeah.
You guys will get it.
Yeah. If we can get $10 to pay everyone, we'll start producing anime contempt theater.
No. We'll put the first episode out, and then after that, if you guys want, you can keep funding it.
Yeah,
mean,
we
like,
have anime stuff in stock.
If I was actively being paid to do that, like like twice a month, we set aside a Sunday or a Saturday, and then
Yeah.
I got 2
I'll
weeks
do
for each
it.
episode. I'd do it. I'd do it at that point. That'd be worth the time. That would be extra money in the pocket to help pay off my student loans and take care of bills.
It's extra hats in Dota.
But
I'll just be honest and tell you where your money's going, folks.
Anyway, so yeah, we covered on, and maybe not how to write a good villain. We kind of just covered the broad range of villains that you can do and how to not write a bad villain. But really, at the end of the day, it comes down to the genre you're working with. It comes down to the length you're aiming for. It comes down to how prevalent you want the villain to be in your story. It comes down to how you want the villain to interact with the hero in your story. And I don't mean the main antagonist, I just mean the bad guy in general. It comes down to a lot of stuff. Like, I don't think you could do what J.K. Rowling did with Voldemort in a setting like Mass Effect. It just would not work as well. I liked May Valentine and Tay. Well, everyone's wrong about something.
I mean, as far as like actual characterization goes, Mai's okay. Thea's kind of weak.
Serenity, better, and mana, the basis for Dark Magician Girl. Of course you would, Bake. Of course you would. Oh, Yogi boy.
Okay, Pegasus. Let's start wrapping up.
Wrapping up.
Yo, if we do a fan dub, Sneaky has to be Pegasus, and Max should be
I'm
Kaiba.
afraid that's where you're wrong, Yugi boy.
Why would I be Kaiba?
Because it's a terrible fit.
Yes, exactly. Oh, do you think I can do it with a Southern preacher? I'm afraid that's where you're wrong, Yugi boy.
No.
Southern
Maybe,
Joey.
maybe you could get away with doing that to Joey.
Yeah. Scottish
I mean-
Joey. The
No,
plan
if
comes
that's how it's gonna
together,
be, we should let
Yugi
Nozar
boy.
have his Scottish Joey.
I still don't understand why they gave Joey a Brooklyn accent.
Can we make Yugi be a dude, bro?
I
don't know.
I'm sorry. Are we just planning to try and usurp Little Karibo for Yu-Gi-Oh! Bridge or something?
No.
Or are we
just
just
want to
making
do
a
our
shitty-
own shit
We're
post.
just making a shitty dub.
We're just gonna make a shitty dub.
Oh God.
A German Yuki? I don't know. I think we would get taken off of YouTube pretty quickly if any of us tried to do German Yugi.
No, Sneaky, it's not like it's live. We can edit out all the terrible jokes.
You have unleashed my trap guard! Gas chamber!
Why would you? God damn it, this is why we need a mute button for it.
That's what I'm there for. Yeah, we'll get Calvin to do German Yugi.
Yeah, you know what? If your mic is good enough quality, sure, why not? We'll make
You know
Calvin
what?
the
We haven't had Calvin on the podcast, and Calvin is an author we've featured.
You know-
we've had
you know
Calvin
what?
on.
Yeah, you know what? If we're gonna be getting a German accent in on this, we should just go as authentic as possible.
Exactly. We have ways of making you talk, Hans. We are German, and we are Nazis.
Oh, so Max, I played the demo for Tales of Valkyria 4. They changed absolutely nothing control-wise, and I like that.
Tales of
Alright.
Valkyria.
Tales of Valkyria, yep.
Alright, so that's starting to bring up the Vidma game. So we're gonna do the smart.
I
thing.
realized what I did halfway through, but I'm like, nah, just commit.
Alright, so thank you all for coming on down and enduring the extra time and wait. And staying a little bit later than normal too. I appreciate that. That touches me in places that don't require a court audience.
Hey, it's the most touching you've gotten all year, Sneaky.
I will literally shake you.
Am I wrong?
I will drive down to the city you are currently in and shank you with a spoon.
Well, no, Sneaky, it's currently up.
No. Are you in Maine?
I'm in Boston.
I'm above you, you dolt!
Wait, yes, I was thinking I got two states
Jesus
mixed up.
Christ! See, this
Look,
is why
I was
you
never
live in...
good at geometry.
This is why...
Oh my God.
Yes,
It
I
is
said it wrong on
algebra,
purpose
you
that time.
twit!
Of course, I'm sorry.
Oh.
I thought Atin was in Chicago. He's a Maine
Well,
cougar.
yes, you are correct about that, but I'm currently in a different location. I'm on vacation.
Careful, I'll be shot on the way. Nah, Isley. I don't get shot, I do the shooting. I am the man who knocks!
Calvin is asking if we're in a Stephen King novel.
I mean, I might be.
Stephen King.
Stephen, like Stephen Strange.
Just a second, I have a geographical question. Well,
Silver
I'm no
Mute,
mathematician, but I'm pretty sure that's a linguistical error. You're welcome. Alright, Calvin, ask your question and then we'll close out the stream.
Can you stop, like, making your chair grunt and just quietly making grunting noises when no one else is talking, man?
No. I'm watching Revenge and I have to ask myself, if those frackers work in New York, how far do they have to drive to the Hamptons to be in the city? From the Hamptons to be in the city? Oh. Well, about 2 hours. That's not too far of a drive, all things considered. Especially with New York City, yeah.
Oh god.
2 hours.
You're not actually going to come here, are you?
Me?
Well, he doesn't actually know where we are, though, so he can't. So as long as we don't give the address, we're fine.
Well, I already traced your IP.
A, no you haven't. B,
That's a you thing.
that still won't give you a... Well, given the way most of these places work, you still won't have a good address.
Okay, you're right. That is to be fair with the city you're in. That's about 2 hours. Hope these guys are working home office. Yeah, well, you'd be surprised how far people would drive every single day to go to work. I have a coworker that drives an hour and 30. But
Yeah.
Fanfictions! Thank you everyone for coming down. We'll cover more fanfiction next time, I promise. Probably.
Nah, we won't. Honestly, we like talking to you guys better.
I mean, yeah, it's always better when we actually
It's
cover
always fun
valuable
learning
material.
about new degeneracies from Isley.
No, I mean, it's also always fun actually sitting down and talking about how to make better villains and how to write heroes and, you know, the various good and bad examples you can draw from. I mean, yeah, obviously that's a lot more fun for us to do, but our primary purpose here is to provide shit fanfiction. Well, not provide shit fanfiction. To provide fanfiction that 99.97% of the time produces shit. And then, you know, comment cruelly on it. But, you know, sometimes we deviate. But, I thank you all for joining us to this period of time. And I wish you the best because, as always, there's always more and it always gets worse.